And welcome to Talisman Tarot. In this reading I will be gathering information about your health, what you can do to improve your health, and so this will be group number 1, this will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, and this will be group number 4, and this will be group number 5. And so I will ask you to take a deep breath and use your intuition to choose your group. And so let's proceed to the reading. So group number 1, you chose this pyrite and fluorite. And so the first thing I see is coughing, and so you might have a bad cough right now, so maybe you have corona, but it could also be something else, like the normal flu. It's flu season, and it's that type of year where people cough, so that's pretty normal. And so, but you could also have a sore throat and a low fever. I definitely see that there's something with your throat. Your throat chakra could also be blocked, but I think it's more related to your actual throat. Also, I think there's something with your mouth. Maybe you have like oral thrush, or something like that, and so you might also have issues with your dental health. I definitely see that your mouth and your throat needs attention, and maybe also your lungs. So I also see that for some of you, you might have your period right now, menstruation, and of course that's not related to the coughing, but there's something about your periods. I don't know if you get really heavy periods or have a lot of pain, but I think for some of you, you might also have some side effects from your birth control, and so maybe switch it up a bit. Of course, if you are a male, that doesn't apply to you, but for my female viewers, you might need to consider switching from birth control pills to maybe a less harmful solution, because I see for some of you, also, I'm not trying to freak you out, but maybe you are genetically prone to breast cancer. Maybe breast cancer runs in your family, and so maybe you need to be extra careful, because birth control pills can increase your chance for breast cancer. And also, if some of you, it's only a very few of you, but if you have already found a lump in your breast, and maybe that's the reason why you are watching this video, maybe you are worried about it, then maybe wait until your period is over before you completely freak out, because you can get lumps in your breasts that swell when you have your period, and then they disappear afterwards. But if they don't disappear, then of course get it checked. Also, I see that for some of you, you get really bad headaches, migraines, and this could also be a side effect from your birth control pills. But I think your headaches might be cyclical, even if you are not on birth control pills. Like, I think you get really heavy migraines right before you start your period, and that's because the estrogen levels are really low right before the period starts, and there's not much to do about that. I think the only thing I know is that you can take ibuprofen like 2 times a day in the days leading to your period to prevent it, but honestly, I myself haven't really had much luck with that, but you might, and so I think that for some of you, you might be on birth control because of stomach cramps or even migraines, and for some of you, this treatment is doing more harm than good, and so maybe you would benefit from finding a different solution. But I also see that maybe you were told by your doctor that you could use birth control as a way to control your cycle, like so that you could skip your periods if the time was inconvenient, like if you knew you would get your period while studying for a test or something like that, and so you could postpone your period to next month, and then you could avoid the migraines and stomach ache. And I was advised to do this from a doctor once, and it is my opinion that we can't mess with Mother Earth, because she will mess with you back. And so I think by postponing your period, you are not cheating the system. You will just get a twice as bad period next time. And so but that's just my experience. If it works for you, then keep doing it. And if you're watching this video on a full moon, I don't know when you will be watching this video, but if you're watching on a full moon, then you might be blood moon people, and that's most people have their periods at the new moon. That's why most children are born in the full moon. And so if you are blood moon people, that's a bit rare. But what I know about blood moon people is that they are highly connected to spirit and highly intuitive, and so you might be that as well. You might have psychic gifts like clairvoyance or one of the other clairs, and so that's another great reason for you to stop birth control pills, because you might have noticed that your periods are always late, and you might have noticed that your period is following the moon more than your birth control cycle, and that is just your body being extremely stubborn. It wants to bleed in the full moon, and it doesn't care if that means you will get your periods a few days or even a week or more too late. And that is important, because I think you will actually become more connected to spirit if you stop on birth control. I think it might be blocking some of your powers, but I also see that since you experience your period on the same time as a full moon, you are really quite unfortunate. You are really spiritually awake, but you are really unfortunate as well, because the full moon affects your mood, and your period affects your mood as well. And since you have both at the same time, you might be extra vulnerable. You might cry over the smallest things when you're on your period, and you might curse people out and give them a hard time. You are probably not able to temper your emotions in this period. You will get frustrated over the smallest things, and so you need to take care of yourself in the days of your period. Like, don't have high expectations for yourself. Cut yourself some slack and maybe try to plan ahead. I know I hate that. I hate to plan ahead, but try to plan ahead with your period in mind. And so if you know you have an assignment and you know the due date is in 2 weeks or a month or something, then try to keep in mind that the days, like the day before your period, is like the day of migraines, and so like and so use that day to like pamper yourself and well, for me, the only thing that can relieve the low estrogen headaches is sugar. And so I know it's a cliche, but just make sure you have candy in the house when you get those, and just use that day to feel sorry for yourself. Open a window, lie in your bed in the dark, and just eat some sugar, and that's all right. And if you're one of those really unfortunate souls who actually don't get the period on the day of the full moon, but the day after the full moon, because then the full moon is on the day where your estrogen levels are the lowest, and that's a horrible combo. If that is the case, you need to know that you are really unfortunate, and that you have the right to be as ineffective as you can be that day. And of course, remember to drink a lot of water, and I mean a lot of water, because the full moon dehydrates, and if you have migraines as well, that is just a bad combo. And so drink a lot of water. This could also be a general thing, like maybe you need to drink more water, like in general, especially if you have bad migraines. And so for some of you, might be a bit vulnerable mentally right now. I don't know if it's because you're on your period right now, or just in general because of the crisis, corona crisis, but you could also have felt this way before corona. Like maybe you have been isolating yourself a bit, and maybe you actually were starting to get out of your shell more, like right before corona happened. And so you maybe went from isolating yourself because you couldn't deal with people to actually wanting to deal with people, but you couldn't because you were isolating because of corona. And so I think you have had a hard time. And you might also be highly sensitive, and you're probably highly sensitive because you were actually maybe you were sensitive as a child, and that might have actually been because you were psychic, and so maybe you are realizing now, or maybe you realized around New Year, right before Corona, that you were actually psychic. And I think this shift from believing that you were highly sensitive to realizing that you were actually psychic helped you a lot to develop your self-esteem. You realized that you didn't have a disadvantage, you actually had an advantage. And so I think this new confidence boost made you want to socialize more. Maybe it made you want to meet new people and actually use your gifts. But then you were thrown back into isolation again. And it's really like caging the hermit. That would be horrible, because the hermit is isolated because he needs to realize something he needs to find through introspection. But when he's ready to remerge back into society, he needs to be able to do that. The door should not be locked behind him, because how was his introspection worth anything if he can't share it with others afterwards? And I don't know why, but this makes me think about a story in the Bible, and I will make this short, but I think it might be significant. I don't really remember what it was called. I don't even remember if it actually made it to the Bible. Actually, maybe it's just I don't know. It's a long time since I've read it, and so please excuse me if I remember the story incorrectly. But it was about a man or a boy. His father was blind. His father had trusted all his money to a friend who had kept his money safe for him for many years in a faraway land. Since the father was blind and not able to travel, he sent his son on the journey. And first, the father needed someone to accompany his son on the journey, and a man from the village volunteered, and the father wanted to interview him first to make sure he was fitted for the journey. But since the father was not able to see him, he did not realize that the being he was talking to was actually an angel. And so he accepted him as a suited company for his son, and the son went on the journey. And on the way to the father's friend's house, the angel points out a lake. The angel says to the son, you should take a fish from the lake because it could be an ailment for your father. And the son took the fish, and then they continued the journey, and the son got the money, and he also married the daughter of the friend of his father, and then they traveled home with the money, and the son then robbed the fish, I think the liver of the fish, in the eyes of his father, or the gallbladder, I don't remember, but he robbed some of the fish in the eyes of the father, and the father got his sight back. Sorry, that was a bit of a long story, but and it was for a very small point that I wanted to make, but I think you were starting your journey before Corona, and you were never allowed to return home. You have not been able to use and show others the things you learned on your journey. In this case, your journey was inwards. I don't know why I felt the need to bring up that story. There must be something about it. Okay, so for some of you, you could also have started a diagnostic process before Corona, and so maybe you had sent your son metaphorically out, maybe you had some tests made and you are waiting for the test results or a diagnosis, but there has been a delay because of Corona, and so you have not been able to start healing your health issues. Like maybe this had to do with your mental health. Maybe you started going to a psychiatrist before Corona and then it was delayed and you're still waiting for your son to come home with the cure, because that's kind of a funny part of that story. Or it's not funny really, but the father sent his son out and the son found a cure for his father's blindness on the way to to his father's friend's house, but instead of rushing home to cure his father, the son stays for a longest time, and he even gets married, and then he travels back home. So the father could have been cured months ago, and so I think you might feel the same way. You might have started something to do with your health, and then it has been delayed over and over again, and you are just waiting for the doctor to actually have time to heal you. Alternatively, it could be a way of saying that you will find the cure to your health problem while you are searching for something completely different. Maybe if you focus on something different, maybe like your career or money, then maybe out of the blue the solution will come to you. Like if you are isolating right now, it could also be that when you start joining society again and start being social again, maybe you will meet a random person who will actually give you the answer you are looking for. But I think in this context, it could be a spiritual journey. I think you will find the answer on a spiritual journey. So maybe you should ask your spirit guides or angels for help. Maybe you should ask them to guide you and show you signs that will lead you to a health solution. If you are, of course, concerned about something to do with your health, or maybe especially if it is your mental health you are worried about, then I think the solution might lie within yourself. But with this stone, it is a pyrite in fluorite, and it is two stones in one, and so maybe you are very attached to someone. Maybe you have some issues concerning codependency, like maybe you are really attached to your mother, but also fluorite has something to do with dental health. So maybe you have oral thrush, like I said before, but pyrite also looks a bit like metal, and it's on top of fluorite, which is about the teeth, and so maybe you have braces or had braces when you were younger, and maybe you have some issues surrounding that. but so maybe you need to go to the dentist just to get that checked out. Can't you get like oral thrust down your throat as well? So maybe that's actually why you have a sore throat. You might it might go down your throat, and you might also need to take calcium supplements. Maybe you have problems with both your teeth and your bones. I also heard something about your legs. Maybe you have muscle fatigue in your legs, or maybe your legs are swollen or something. I don't know. Maybe it can be hormonal. Maybe get that checked, especially if you are on birth control pills. Also, if you are on birth control pills because of stomach cramps, maybe get your appendix checked. Also, it could maybe be a UTI, because that can give stomach aches as well. Like if you get relief from your stomach ache after you pee, that could be a sign of that. Because maybe there's pressure on your urinary tract. It could also be a benign cyst in your uterus, or something like that. But let's draw some cards. So the Lovers, Nine of Cups, the Fool, Queen of Pentacles, and Ace of Pentacles reversed. And so, okay, with the Queen of Pentacles, you could be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I think with the Ace of Pentacles reversed, you could be worried about your finances, and that might cause you some psychosomatic illness. Like you could be stressed on your job or studies, and that is making you feel bad physically. And with the Lovers here, you might have an illness in one of the organs that you have two of, like your breasts, your lungs, your kidneys, your legs, your eyes, or something you have two of. So with the Fool here, the Fool is the number 0, and it is the baby that's not born yet. So for some of you, you might be pregnant, but for others, you might actually have a problem that needs to be addressed. Maybe it's because of those cysts on your ovaries, or that needs to be surgically removed. But if something should happen to one of your ovaries, the Lovers here is also reassuring you that you have two of them. You don't need both, really. So I don't see it as the end of the world, really. Like I have a cousin who got one of her ovaries removed or something like that, because she had a cyst. It was when she was a child, actually, and she has 2 children today, and had no issues getting pregnant and had no miscarriages or anything like that. And so I don't think you are. There's nothing here that indicates anything bad, really. So also with the 9 of Cups here, I think firstly, with the water fountain here, I think maybe you should hydrate, and secondly, I think you should start maybe dreaming again. Like maybe you haven't been dreaming because you have been depressed lately, and so maybe you have like stopped wishing for anything or like anticipating anything because you know that you would just get disappointed, that all your plans would just get cancelled last minute, and so there was no point in actually having anticipation and excitement for the things to come. And I think you should start to wish upon a star. You should dream and hope and wish, and the wishes you will be granted. You also, I don't know if you should use the night more. Maybe you connect better to the spirit at night, and so maybe you should manifest your dreams at night. Maybe write down what your dreams are at night. Also, this is a wish fulfillment card, and so maybe your wish will come true very soon. And maybe when the moon looks a bit like this, so I believe it's somewhere around the 21st of November. Well, I don't know when you will be watching this, but just when the moon is like this. And so I think that is when your wish will be granted. And so maybe you are wishing for a diagnosis or a treatment, or maybe this is unrelated to your health. Maybe this has something to do with a project, or and like in the story I just told you about the blind man and his son, I think you will be like the son. You will go out to collect your money, and on the way to the bank you will stumble upon the answer to your health question. So maybe you need to stop worrying about your health and pursue a dream of yours instead. But of course, if it's something serious, then of course consult a doctor. So it just occurred to me, well, Ace of Pentacles doesn't have to have anything to do with like finances, and Ace of Pentacles reverse doesn't have to mean financial loss. It could also just mean that you are really ungrounded, and I think that makes a lot of sense, really. I think you might be a bit ungrounded. Also, I talked about you being sensitive, and sensitive people have a hard time keeping themselves grounded. And so maybe Google some grounding techniques, and like if you have a bit of a hard time, if you have a hard time reading your body's signals and you don't know what is wrong with you, then maybe it is because you actually can't read your body signals, because you are not present in your own body, and you need to be more present in your body to read its signals. And so if you feel like you are easily distracted by your environment and the people around you, that might be a sign that you are ungrounded, because you let the environment affect you, and not the other way around. You are not affecting your environment. You are not creating, making something, like manifesting, taking initiative, asking people out. Are not contributing to your environment, but you still let your environment affect you and distract you. And there is nothing wrong with having times where you do not contribute to your environment, but it is important to be able to do both, like separately, contribute to your environment and withdraw from your environment without them two mixing. And I think the key is to realize that you can affect your environment, that you can become the painter, you can become the creator, you can make plans, you can invite people, you can create your environment instead of your environment distracting you. You can make the environment yours. Then it won't distract you anymore. Like if people are being loud somewhere, you can just join them. If your neighbors are being loud, join them, talk to them, get to know them, become a part of your environment, so that it won't annoy you anymore, because you are only annoyed by it when you are distant from it. And when you think of the world outside as something that stands in contrast to you, something that is different from you, something alien, that also if you live in an apartment and you have been annoyed by your neighbors having parties because you think it is very disrespectful because of Corona, you should maybe consider whether or not you might be a bit jealous. I hate to say that, it sounds stupid, but maybe you get more annoyed of this because you are actually deprived from social contact yourself. But maybe consider, now that I know it's really bad advice, but maybe consider actually calling a few of your friends and having your own party. Of course, keep yourself and others safe, but maybe you need to plan something fun, something you can look forward to, and something social. And it doesn't have to be more than 2 other friends. And if you have lost contact with your friends because of Corona and you are afraid of calling them, then don't be take a leap of faith, and like with the Fool here, and if they reject the invitation, then it's their loss, really. And at least you tried. Also with the Queen of Pentacles, she has one of those really painful necklaces on, and so this could be a confirmation about the throat thing, like maybe your throat is very sore, but it could also be a neck thing. Maybe you have headaches because of your neck. Maybe you need to sleep with a better pillow, or maybe you look too much down at your phone or something like that. Also with the volcano erupting in the background, spreading all the ashes all over, and so maybe you live in a place with a lot of pollution, and maybe that is actually the reason why you have a cough. I don't know if you, like, maybe you live in the city or something like that. I don't know, but you could also have allergies with the Fool card here. Like maybe you have allergies for like grass or trees, but I don't know. that's not really the season right now, but maybe you are from Australia or somewhere where it's summer right now, and so maybe like that your allergies are bad right now. But that's what I see for you, group number 1. Keep hydrated, and if this video was of any help to you, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Group number 2, you chose this bloodstone heart, and so I don't actually think you have many health concerns or things you need to be concerned about with your health, like I think, but maybe maybe there's something about your feet. Maybe you are a swimmer, or you were a swimmer as a child or when you were younger, and so maybe you have like athlete's feet, or maybe you have swimmer's ear or something like that. Your ears could also just have a tendency to trap water inside them after you shower, and so you're experiencing hearing loss. You could maybe try to shower with like a cotton ball rolled in what's it called, Vaseline in your ears, or petroleum jellies. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but you know, that Vaseline thing. But that's something I read somewhere, at least. But I really I also I really sense that there's something about your feet. You might have a fracture or something. But your bones might also fracture quite easily. So maybe you have low bone mass or something like that, and so maybe take calcium and vitamin D supplements, and also I heard vitamin C, so also vitamin B, so like maybe just take daily multivitamins, and so okay, so I heard that you might be drinking too much, and if that resonates with you, that might be affecting your liver. And so if that's the case, maybe look for any sign that your liver is affected, like if some of your if you turn yellow somewhere, like in your eyes or something like that, and then you should address this problem right now. Also drink more water. You might be dehydrated also, but let's draw some cards. So okay, Ace of Swords, Six of Swords, and Nine of Pentacles. And so okay, so with the Six of Swords here, there's definitely something with your feet. Like you might have like pins and needles in your feet, or like maybe you feel like your feet are burning, or maybe you have like bad circulation in your feet. Something with your feet needs addressing, that's for sure. But I also think with the Ace of Swords here, I think you might be a bit stressed out, you might be a bit overworked, and so maybe consider like like I don't know, but well, with the, you can see here with the Six of Swords, you can see that the weight is distributed like because like this person is standing on swords, but he's not really affected that much by it. Like if he was just standing on one sword, then he would get pierced through his foot. But since he is distributing the weight on more swords, then he can actually walk on them without them piercing directly through the foot. So maybe consider distributing the weight like maybe share your workload with others. Like if you work in a group, then consider asking others to help, and also if you're working on your own, maybe try to plan ahead. Like if you have an assignment, don't wait until like the last day to write it. Write it on more days. Like use like here with the use six days instead of one for like writing the assignment, and that way the assignment won't pierce through you. You won't get hurt by it because you will have shared the stress out on more days, like so that it won't harm you. So don't procrastinate too much. Write the assignment every day until the due date, so that you have more swords to stand on. And also there with the Ace of Swords, there is something you are doing right now where you could be more efficient. Like you are holding the sword on the blade instead of the handle, and that's causing you a lot of pain. So maybe you are overcomplicating something. Maybe there is an easier way to do the job you are doing. Maybe you have a job where you could easier get the work done at home, but your boss insists on you meeting physically, and maybe that is causing you a lot of stress because of Corona, and so you feel like the job you have is actually forcing you to hold the blade instead of the handle, and that is making you really frustrated. Also with the Nine of Pentacles, I know it looks really horrible, especially in a health reading, like this is open heart surgery, but it's not so horrible because it's Nine of Pentacles and it's essentially a great card. But it, like you can see the coins are inside of you, so you don't need to find the coins elsewhere. It's like a card that says that you have all your coin, you have all your abundance and prosperity inside of you. You just need to find it and realize it. And so But if I have to look at it from a more serious perspective, I think this might be saying that you are pouring money down the drain, like you are spending money on things that are harming your body, and that could be alcohol, but it could also be smoking, like you are throwing money down your lungs, and like these coins here are like burning your lungs, and so maybe so that's actually really fitting for the Nine of Pentacles. Like I really love this deck because I feel like all the cards are reversed, and I think this one definitely is like in the Rider-Waite, it is a woman who has everything. She's happy and content, and and prosperous. And I think the downside to prosperity is you end up using your money on stupid things that will harm your body, like cigarettes and alcohol. And also this card is about independence, and so this might also say that it is actually because of your independence that you have this problem to begin with. Maybe you have been isolated for too long, and maybe you are too independent and you don't want to seek help from others. So if you don't have a problem with addiction, then you have probably chosen the wrong pile, and maybe seek guidance from one of the other piles. But I see for you that you have some work to do. This card also reminds me of the saying to take the bull by the horns, and I think you need to do that. You need to get on with it and start changing your lifestyle, because if you don't change your but also I know that like you are sailing into calmer waters. The stormy waters will soon be a faint memory, but this card also suggests that you need to plan your recovery, set realistic goals for yourself, and distribute the weight on a realistic time. And of course, if you don't have a problem yet, and maybe you actually don't have one really, then just think of it this way. I think by drinking frequently, and you are making your life a lot harder. Like the Ace of Swords here, maybe mostly in terms of school or career, like you are compromising your own effectivity. The time it takes to make an assignment will be doubled if you are intoxicated, and even if you don't work when you are intoxicated, this is still affecting you, because as you become intoxicated more frequently, you are limiting the time you have to actually work. And so maybe you are making your life a lot harder on yourself by drinking. Like, also, if you are just the type who drinks in the weekends, and there is nothing wrong with that at all, but maybe you drink Friday and Saturday and use the whole Sunday to recover from the weekend, and so you don't actually have the time to prepare for school or work on Monday. And and then you need to work even harder in the week and then you need to drink more in the weekends to relax from a busy week, and then you need more time to recover from that weekend, which gives you even less time to prepare for Monday, and then it just becomes a vicious cycle, really. And so maybe you actually don't have an urgent problem right now. I didn't actually feel like this group had much of a problem when I started the reading, and so I don't think it's really an urgent matter, but just know that this could easily develop into a serious problem, and so keep that in mind. And also this card is also suggesting that this lifestyle is not cheap. It doesn't well, it doesn't matter if it's alcohol or cigarettes or both. It's not cheap. And think about all the cool stuff you could buy for that money instead. And so, but that's what I see for you, group number 2. I hope this helped, and if it did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. So group number 3, you chose this pneumite, and so I think for some of you might have poor blood circulation, and maybe you need to exercise regularly and eat healthier. Like maybe your feet are always freezing, or maybe you even have that where your feet turn blue when you don't wear socks, like not blue, but like bluish. But okay, so I also heard virus. So I think you might actually be sick right now with a virus. It's not necessarily the coronavirus, but I see that that might be actually be the reason why you haven't been able to exercise, and so that makes sense. It could also be that you had the virus early this year and you are still experiencing symptoms, so you haven't felt like you could actually exercise, and so maybe you have also been a bit afraid of exercising because of this. And I think the spirit is encouraging you to take action and start exercising. So I also think you might experience some stomach pain, and it could actually be related to you not getting enough exercise. Maybe you have been constipated a lot, and so you might need to physically move around more to really get your digestive system back rolling again. And also, if you I heard if you take medication right now, I don't know what that would be for, but if you do that, I think you should keep taking that medication, or to maybe take it more regularly. Like maybe you forget to take your medication once in a while, and maybe you need to create a better system so that you don't forget. And so if you don't have the coronavirus, it could also be like, I don't know why, I thought of Lyme disease, because I don't actually think that is caused by a virus, but maybe that is something that has been affecting your health a lot. I also think there is like a virus that can make people more prone to get Lyme disease. What I don't remember what that's called. I will Google it real quick. Sorry. So it's Epstein-Barr virus. It also causes mono. So maybe you had mono when you were younger, and so maybe you are still affected by this. Maybe you still have some symptoms caused by mono or Lyme disease, or maybe you have some autoimmune disease, and you might recently have started a treatment, maybe some alternative treatment. And if that is the case, I will encourage you to keep using whatever that is. And also, I heard that, like, because of your poor blood circulation, you might there might be someone in your family who has heart disease, and so you might be prone to genetically prone to heart disease, and so maybe be extra careful with that. With what you eat, and try to exercise more. And even if you have other diseases that make it difficult for you to exercise, but just like go for a walk once a day, but let's see what the tarot has to say. So the Hierophant reversed Justice, 10 of Wands, 3 of Wands. So, okay. So with the Hierophant in reverse here, I guess the tarot agrees with me that about the alternative treatment with the Hierophant here reversed, that card is all about seeking a less traditional route and finding alternative ways, not relying too much on your doctor, and either seeking a second opinion or finding a treatment that is outside the conventional methods. And so I think if you are not already doing this, I think you should, like, for example, if you have Lyme disease, there are a few alternative treatments you can try. Also, I believe Lyme disease is not treatable, and also most autoimmune diseases are not treatable, and so maybe don't take the doctor's word for it. Don't just assume there isn't a treatment, not just because your doctor says so. And so Google alternative treatments, and maybe go to a healer or acupuncture or zone therapy. And also with the Justice card here, you might need to get your scale in balance. And I'm not saying you should necessarily lose weight, but maybe don't fluctuate too much. Maybe don't have it as a goal to lose weight. Maybe just have it as a goal to not gain weight. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I sometimes think it is actually better to, like, maintain the same weight for as long as possible than to fluctuate, because fluctuating is not good for your body, and that is often what happens when people set the goal to lose weight. They like lose weight and gain it back, and then lose it again and gain it back. And I think that kind of defeats the whole purpose. I think their health would have been overall better if they had just maintained the same weight, because I think I don't see you as being obese at all. I think you might just be a bit above average, and so if you are like 20 pounds overweight, then just set a goal that you don't want to put on any more weight. Like maybe buy some really pretty clothes in exactly your size, not too small, not too big, just completely fitting your body right now. And just think about what a shame it would be to put on weight or even lose weight, because then you wouldn't be able to fit in it anymore. And so I think I'm not sure if that's the best advice, because of course we have a culture that is so fixated on losing weight that like I recently lost weight quite quickly, and I got a few health issues associated with weight loss, and due to this weight loss, I actually developed this ear dysfunction, because it's called eustachian tube dysfunction, I think, which is the most annoying thing on the planet. It is where your ear feels like where your ears feel like they get clogged every time you swallow, and you hear yourself from inside your head, like you hear yourself breathing and talking like it is in stereo. And this is most annoying when you are talking to people, because you have no idea how loud you are talking, and you can't hear what the other person is saying either. And so it's the worst. And I was told that this dysfunction can actually happen if you lose weight or gain weight really quickly, because the fat around the eustachian tube can't adapt to changes in weight. So you might actually have this as well if you recently gained weight quickly, or lost weight, I don't know. And so this got me thinking about if your ears can't adapt to fluctuation in weight, there must be other parts of your body that can't adapt to it either. And so I think it is really bad when you are constantly encouraging people to lose weight, and usually as fast as possible. And I think we should really change that approach, and instead promote either maintaining our weight at the same level, or losing weight really, really slowly. And you don't damage, don't do more damage than good. And also I think we forget that the fat on our body is are reserve, and we need to have some fat if we should get sick. And sometimes I think it's divinely guided, like your body knows more of what is to come than you do, and so it stocks up. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you will become sick in the near future. I'm just saying, like, maybe you will, like maybe your body knows that you will get a stomach bug, and in that case, it is good to have some extra pounds. And so, think of your body as something that is trying to keep you safe. And well, sometimes the body overreacts a bit, and rather it is you who overreact. Like if you have anxiety, then this is your own overreaction. You have built an irrational fear in your mind for something in your environment, and so your brain sends the signal to your body that there is something dangerous on the way, and the body goes on survival mode. And one of the things that happens when your body goes on survival mode is that it starts to stock up, and so yeah, I think if you realize that the extra weight is actually just your body trying to keep you safe, then I think you could start loving your body instead of hating it. Don't curse it out for doing its job, because you might hurt its feelings, like because even though it might have like been a big misunderstanding that the body picked up on some signals from you that it shouldn't have picked up on, but it wasn't really your body's fault. It was not yours either. You can't control your anxiety, or you can, but like in time. But just come to terms with the fact that it wasn't anyone's fault, and so give your body some love, clap it on the back, and like for trying to help you, even if the help was not wanted. And just know that your body is not trying to work against you. You shouldn't curse your body for gaining weight. You should ask yourself, what is the point of this weight? Is it due to your anxiety, or is it that maybe your body has picked up on something to come, something you have signaled to your body through your intuition? Maybe intuitively you know that you might catch a stomach bug soon or something like that, and so your intuition could have sent signals to your body that it could be a good idea to gain some extra pounds. And so never think that your body is working against you just because it's not behaving as you wanted to, because it might sometimes know more than you actually think it does. And so, of course, if your weight issues are because of like an eating disorder, then you should probably listen more to your body. Then you might be working against your body and not the other way around. But I don't know. I guess the bottom line I want to make is that you should love your body more. And with the 10 of wands here, I think you might be carrying too much. So this could be weight, but I feel like that is contradicting what I have been saying all along. But it could also be that you have back problems, like maybe you do too much heavy lifting, like maybe your backpack is too heavy, or maybe you have a bad posture or something. But it could also be just about you being too stressed, and that you are putting a too big a burden on your shoulders. Like you might also be the type who gives yourself the blame every time you have a health issue, like you don't really want to go to the doctor because you are afraid that the doctor will just tell you that it is your own fault, like maybe because you are a bit overweight, and so you are afraid to voice any health concerns because you are afraid that people will just tell you that your weight is the reason because you don't exercise or enough, or that you, and so now you just tell yourself this by default every time you have pain somewhere, that you probably caused it yourself with your lifestyle. But you don't need to put this burden on your shoulders. Like, don't assume that you are completely in control of your own health whenever your health is bad. The responsibility is not on your shoulders. Like you don't. Like, everyone gets sick. It's not, we are not failing to maintain our health if we get sick. Getting sick is out of our own control, and like, for example, if you have the coronavirus, you could feel like you are a failure for getting it, like that you were not careful enough and that it was your fault, and you probably don't feel like you can feel sorry for yourself because you have this feeling deep down that you could have prevented it from happening. But really, we can't live that way. Like, sometimes we need to have more compassion for ourselves and just say to ourselves that it was just extremely unfortunate. Like if we fall on our bikes and break our leg, we shouldn't get mad at ourselves for not being careful enough. We should just feel bad for ourselves and think that it was unfortunate that accidents happen, and we can't prevent them all from happening. Like, you wouldn't tell a child that has fallen off his bike that it was his own fault, that he could have prevented the accident from happening if he had just been more careful. Like, no, you comfort the child and tell him that you are sorry for him, that it, like, sorry that it happened to him, and you should do the same for yourself. If you become ill or if you experience pain, then comfort yourself. Tell yourself that you are sorry that it happened to you and that it is a shame that it happened. Like with corona, don't feel shame for catching corona. Instead, tell yourself that it is a shame, that it's a shame that you catch the virus. And also with the three of wands here, I think it might be referring again to maybe considering alternative health treatments, because it is about sending ships, like what's it called, scouts out in the world and waiting for them to return with new knowledge. And so I think you might need to discover something new, and so maybe this has to do with a more holistic view on your health, where you incorporate the body, mind and spirit. And maybe you also need to simply ask the spirit for signs about how to improve your health. And so that's what I see for you, group number 3. I hope this reading helped you. If it did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Group number 4, you chose this Labradorite, and so I think for, there might be some males watching this video, and if that is the case, I will ask you to get your prostate checked. But mostly I think for this group, I think you might have trouble falling asleep, so maybe consider sleeping with like white noise or something that can improve your sleep. You could also benefit from sleeping with music playing or like an audio book or something like that. So I think this reading might be more about your mental health than your physical health. I think you are suppressing your emotions, and I think it is affecting your health. I think you are starved emotionally, and you could also be starved physically. And I think you live so much in your mind that you ignore your body's basic needs. You need to reconnect with your emotions and your body. Like that might be also be the root to your sleep problems. Like you don't listen to your body, and so you don't know when you are tired, and the same thing could be happening with your eating. Like you might not eat when you are hungry because you don't actually notice when you are hungry. Like you might go through a whole day, and then in the evening you suddenly realize that you haven't eaten all day, and like you might stay up at night until the next morning, and sometimes you might not even notice that you have been up all night, because like you just notice it when the sun rises, and so you might not be very much in touch with your body. You don't pick up on its signals because you are too preoccupied by the things going on in your mind. And so you might be in school or something like that where you use your head a lot, and I think you are probably really smart, but really, what is it worth to be smart if you can't figure out your body's needs? Like really, that was a burn, by the way. Like, but like you what's it? Sorry. Like you decapitate yourself a bit, like you separate your head from your body, and while you are off on your smart journeys to discover a lot of cool stuff, you leave your body behind, like a headless chicken running around in circles while its head is elsewhere trying to find the meaning of life, and it's a bit silly because like you need your body. You need like without your body, all your smart ideas go to waste, because without your body you are not able to create anything. You are not able to write any of your ideas down. You are not able to set your ideas in motion. Then you just stay there in your decapitated head. And so it would be in everyone's interest if you actually turned your brain off once in a while and just tended to your body's needs, like go out and eat a meal, go for a walk, take a long hot shower, or do something where you can ground yourself in your body, like something where you don't think about anything and just relax your mind. Like you could also do something with your hands, like something like knitting or drawing, because I think then you will start to actually create something, like when you start to do something creative, I think that will lead you to find ways to actually create something out of your brilliant ideas, like by starting to use your body and be creative with it. Like you will and like, because they are not benefiting anyone when they are when your smart ideas are trapped in your head. And so I think you become more effective whenever you get your sleep in order. Like you might feel like you are more effective at night, and that is totally fine, but don't expect yourself to wake up early in the morning, because then you won't be effective, because, well, you are not effective when you are sleep deprived. And so you might also feel like sleep is like a bit overrated, and probably food as well, and that you don't need to eat or sleep to function. But well, you do. Like, I know you don't really, but it's all about staying grounded. Really, it's about nurturing your body so that your body can help your mind. And so like, I know there is like this trend of like fasting, and so we might be fasting right now, and I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It might have some health benefits for you, but I don't think it's a good idea for you in particular, because you are so ungrounded, and it's just keeping you even more ungrounded, really. So like, but like you are, because you are so disconnected from your body already, and so tending to your body's needs will help you reconnect with your body. And so but let's draw some cards just to find out how you can fix this, how you can heal this. So okay, so the Empress and Totem of Arrows. And so okay, that's Ace of Wands, I believe. And so that makes complete sense with the Empress here. So I think, well, I can't make this shit up, really, because this is just so extremely fitting. I still get quite amazed by this sometimes, because like this was what I was talking about. I think you are too much in your masculine energy. I think you need to tap into your feminine energy, and you need to heal your feminine energy, and you need to be more creative. You need to nurture yourself. You need to feel your emotions more. Like, even if you are a man, you can learn from this, because a woman needs to nurture herself in order to be fertile, in order to create a child. She needs to tend to her own physical needs to create something. And the same applies to everything we create. If we start a project, for example, or create a business, we need to make sure that our needs are tended to. So that we are taking care of ourselves, because if we are not taking care of ourselves, we cannot create this project or business. We cannot make it grow. And so we need to think about every business idea and every passion project we start as a child, that we are growing. And we need to nurture ourselves and nourish ourselves in order to make it grow. And so if you are in the midst of a project right now and you are focused on making it succeed, and you are so focused that you are not eating and sleeping, then know that your work is counterintuitive. You are so focused on success that you are actually not succeeding, because you are not nourishing the body and the mind that is creating your success. And it's like cutting meat with an unsharpened knife. It is way faster to take a quick break to sharpen the knife and then continue the cutting than not wanting to leave the meat for 1 second and just keep cutting it with the unsharpened knife. Like you think you're being effective, but really you are not. By not taking the time off to sharpen your tool, you are working overtime for no reason at all, and the result is bad. The unsharpened knife is just pressing down the meat and forcing all the juices out of it, and you end up with dry meat, and the unsharpened knife is of course your body, and you need to take a break to tend to it so that it will work more effectively. And so take a day off once in a while, just to meditate and clear your mind and do something dumb, like really, really dumb, like stupid dumb, something brain dead, completely pointless dumb shit, like really something that requires no brain cells whatsoever, like play one of those really brain dead stupid games, like those farm games, like Farmville. I don't know if that exists anymore, but like I actually think that might be a really good idea, really, like one of those games where like you need to do like really simple tasks, but you need to do them like every day. And now that I think of it, I think it's a brilliant idea, really, because I think it's really grounding. I never really thought of this, but I think it might be the best grounding idea I have had for a long time. I never played those games myself because I always looked a bit down on them, because I knew my stepfather played those games, and I always thought it was ridiculous. But now that I think of it, my stepfather was probably, or is probably, the most grounded person I know, and so it might actually not be that pointless. And I also think you can like download like different versions of it. Like you can, I think there is like a game where you can like pretend you own a restaurant or like a bakery or something like that, and it doesn't matter what it is. It should only be very simple, and it should have a limited amount of tasks that you can do in one day. So that you will have to do them every day, and so that you have this thing that it can ground you every day. And now that I think of it, it's completely brilliant. I might take that advice myself. But I also think with the coyote card here, like it says, the four-legged, and so I think you might need to. You could benefit from getting a pet, like maybe tending to a pet's needs is actually what you need to realize your own needs. Like if you have a cat, for example, your cat needs to be fed. Maybe when you go to the kitchen to find food for your cat, then maybe you will realize, oh, I'm also hungry myself, and that way you can maybe learn your needs from an animal, and like maybe you like also if you get like a dog, it will make you go out for walks, and maybe your body will get its need for fresh air and exercise fulfilled when you fulfill your dog's need. And maybe you will benefit from feeling needed and loved by another being. Like maybe you have been a bit depressed lately, and maybe that is why you have focused so much on your studies or career. So maybe you've felt a bit lonely and a bit unloved lately, and maybe you feel like no one cares about like you, and maybe you also feel like you have no one around you to care about, and so maybe you will benefit from loving a pet and receiving love in return. And maybe you have felt like you needed, maybe you haven't felt much unconditional love in your life, like, and so maybe you need to experience that from a pet. Like I also think when we have much love to give and we don't have anyone to give it to, we tend to become very focused on learning and reading, because we kind of replace it with love for others. Like we become in love with a topic. We want to get to know it better. We want to learn everything about it. Really, we are actually just dating the topic, and we want to give to the topic. We want to evolve the topic and improve the topic. We want the topic to advance, and that is true love, really. But back to what I said about unconditional love, because I think there might be something interesting there. So I heard something about a step parent, and if this doesn't resonate with you, this I don't know, but I feel strongly about there's something to do with a step parent, and so I don't know if if you experience loss of a parent, and then your maybe that your parent, one of your parents died when you were young, and then a step parent took that parent's place. But it could also just have been that your parents got divorced, and I think that's actually for most of you that it was just a divorce, really, and so you got a step parent, and I think this might have caused you some damage, because I don't like this step parent. I don't think this step parent was good to you. So I think the problem was, I know this, it doesn't really have much to do with your health, but well, it does, because it's your mental health, and that's what I'm focusing on in this reading. And so I think this step parent might not have loved you unconditionally, and so you always felt that the only way to actually receive love from this step parent was if you did something, like if you cleaned the house or did the dishes, and you might have had step siblings who received unconditional love from this step parent, and there might not have been any pressure on your step siblings to behave in a certain way in order to receive love, and you might also have felt that they were allowed to have tantrums and fist fights and scream and yell, and they were always excused, but you felt that every time you made the smallest mistake, your step parent would watch over you like a hawk and make a fuss about every little thing you did, and you felt like many of your mistakes, like many of the mistakes your step siblings made went unnoticed, and you felt like all your mistakes were emphasized. It might even have felt like your step parent was even spying on you and secretly hoping you would do something bad, so that she could, or she or he, so that they could use it against you. Like maybe your own parent tried to discipline your step siblings to make them behave better. Discipline is not the right word, because that's more physically, but like she may have tried to make them behave better, like, but your parent might have, like your real parent might have voiced their opinion about your step siblings, and your step parent could not deal with the criticism, so it was beneficial for your step parent to have dirt on you, because then that dirt could be used as an argument. Like if your real parent would criticize your step siblings, their behavior, your step parent could just argue that you were not, that you were not much better than your step siblings, like that you also make mistakes and also can be difficult sometimes, and in order for them to be able to do that, they of course needed to start digging for some dirt on you, and like that is so unfair, and I feel really sorry for you. So if you always felt like your step parent was just waiting around to see if you would fail, you were probably right, because it might not have been because of like the reasons you thought it was. Like it might not have been because this person wanted you to fail, but it was just that this person lacked empathy and was probably a bit narcissistic, and so they could not handle criticism well, and so they threw you under the bus because it was the easiest thing to do, because that way they could steer clear of criticism, and that way they could keep their ego intact. And also for some of you, this person might also have been frustrated. Maybe this person, like your step-parent, had no clue how to set boundaries for their kids, and so it was easier to just point out the flaws in you instead of dealing with the flaws of their own kids. And so maybe that's actually why you started being so disconnected with your body, because you had your antennas out all the time. Were always feeling your environment. You were always in your step-parent's head, feeling them out, sensing if they were collecting evidence, sensing if they were happy because of something you did, or happy because that something you did actually was dirt that they could use. Maybe you always felt like the arguments against you came as a surprise to you, because at the moment your step-parent at the moment the step-parent didn't actually seem to mind at all, but they still like wrote it down in their mind to save it for later. And so maybe like many of the arguments against you might have been total BS. Like it might have been something your step-parent desperately made up on the spot, because they couldn't think of anything bad you had done, and so they might have used arguments like really silly arguments, like how you only did your chores and never did anything more than your chores, and meanwhile your step siblings didn't even do their own their chores. And so but this was the best thing this person could think of, and so you started to make it harder and harder for them to make up dirt on you, because you just became more and more clean. Like you kept yourself clean. You made sure that you never did anything that could in any way be considered bad. And this just resulted in even more absurd dirt being made up about you. And I think you started to fear the unknown. You started to think of all your actions from the eyes of your step-parent. Like how could this action be misinterpreted as disrespectful? And so you started seeing yourself from the outside, and in order for you to do that, you need to leave your body. And I think you have been unable to enter your body ever since. And like many of us, like we have this irrational fear that like where we believe that everyone is watching our every move and waiting for us to fail so that they can laugh at us. But I think you actually have a rational reason for that. You have probably heard people like tell you that you must be really self-centered if you think everyone around you are focused on you, and for most other people that probably applies, but not for you, because I see that you are not self-centered at all. You have just lived with a really toxic person who was actually focused on your every move, and so it is understandable that you think this, but you need to take down your antennas. You need to stop thinking about how others see you and just live your life. Do the things you want to do just because you want, because you want to do them, because you would enjoy doing them. Like when you are this much living outside your own body, everything becomes so goddamn boring. Like you don't get much out of traveling to another country, because really you would have gotten just as much out of it from just seeing the pictures, because you are not present in your own body anyways. You are not in your body to experience all the experiences. Like you won't have fun in amusement parks, you won't enjoy a movie in the theater, because you will be too focused on not chewing too loud and not bothering anyone. And like also you will be focused on not, like when you are so focused on not bothering anyone, that then you will also get annoyed by all the people in the theater that are bothering you, like that are not being as considerate as you, but maybe you're really not that considerate, like naturally, because maybe you have just been trained to be considerate. Maybe you are just like afraid that whenever you do something slightly inconsiderate, the whole building will collapse on top of you, and so you are afraid that of being inconsiderate, and you are so used to everyone else having a pass, and you are certain that if you just step 2 inches too far to the right, everyone will notice and everyone will complain and make a fuss. And so I think it frustrates you too so much that when, like it frustrates you when people are behaving inconsiderately, because you have this misconception that you would not be allowed to do the same, that the rules only apply to others, they don't apply to you. And when you think that way, then of course you get annoyed by others, but you need to try to do the same as others. Try to be as inconsiderate and see what happens. Maybe this is actually only, like maybe this actually only applied when you lived at home. Maybe you can actually do as much annoying shit as everyone else without anyone actually confronting you or using it against you. Maybe the world is much more tolerant towards you than you think it is. Like if you are annoyed by your neighbors playing music, you might react by turning down your own music, and this is something you've learned to do, that if others are behaving badly, you need to behave perfectly to stand in contrast to them, so that you won't get attacked. But I will advise you to instead react with playing music yourself in your own apartment and play it even louder than your neighbors. Like, you shouldn't react with consideration to others, to other people's inconsideration. Like, you might also feel afraid to ask your neighbors to turn the music down because you are afraid that they will place a mirror in front of you and tell you that all the things you like, all the things you could be doing differently, and pointing out your flaws. But people are usually not like that. They are usually too like, there's usually two possible outcomes if you confront someone for inconsiderate behavior. And like, in one outcome they apologize, and in the other they tell you to go fuck yourself. And that is it. That's the two options, really. That's the two most normal reactions. Normal people don't react to confrontation by pointing out your flaws, because it's illogical. If you play too loud music, you can't justify that by pointing out other people's flaws. That won't change the fact that your music is too loud. One problem does not get solved by stating another problem, because then there is just two problems that needs to be solved, and it's silly. And so have faith in people. Trust that people are not like your step-parent. People are usually quite reasonable, and so that is what I see for you, group number 4. I hope this reading helped, and if it did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. So group number 5, you chose this Moki marble. And so first of all, I think there might be something with your thyroid gland. Like, you might have high metabolism or low metabolism, or you might fluctuate between those two. And if you fluctuate between high and low metabolism, this might be affecting your mental state, and maybe you have even considered whether or not you were bipolar, but you might not necessarily be that. It might be because of your thyroid issue that you have mood swings, if you have mood swings. But like, so maybe keep that in mind. Like, if you have these periods where you are really, really depressed, and then periods where you are a bit manic, and I also heard like contagious, and so you might have the coronavirus right now, and so maybe consider quarantining yourself. I know this is really annoying, because I also sense that this isolation period is making you go a bit mad, and so the thought of quarantining is probably not something you look forward to. I also heard knowledge is power, so maybe Google your symptoms, or if you actually have a diagnosis, maybe it would be beneficial for you to read other people's experiences. Like maybe there is a subsection on Reddit, or a group on Facebook that you can become a member of, where you can read about others with the same problems. Like, maybe hearing that you are not alone will make you feel better. So for some of you, I also sense that like you might have migraines, like maybe migraines that extend to like the back of your eyes, and well, that sucks for you. It could be hormonal. I don't know. You might. So you might also have stomach aches, like you might have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or you might be lactose intolerant, or you might have celiac disease. But I don't think it is life threatening. I just think it's really annoying, and so you might also have some psychosomatic symptoms. Maybe your stomach is really sensitive and it gets extra upset when you are upset. So maybe if you are depressed right now, you might need to go to therapy or something like that, and then that would maybe ease some of your stomach ache. Also, if you are taking medication right now, like any type of medication, I think you should keep taking them. If you have just started a new type of medication and you are skeptical, don't stop taking them right away. Wait it out for a little while. Also, for some of you, I see that you might be grinding your teeth when you sleep, and this might be causing your headaches also. So maybe consider getting a mouth guard. You might also experience neck pain. But I think there's definitely something about like hormones and metabolism, and this comes through quite strongly. You might also have some pain, and it could have something to do with nerves. So like you could maybe have like carpal tunnel in your hands, and that makes your hands ache and tingle. Like you might have a tingling sensation in your fingers, and like you might have pins and needles in your fingers. So this might actually come from your shoulder, and even from your neck, like from your neck down to your shoulder and down to your hand. And so the problem is maybe in the neck, and it has spread to your shoulders, and it has spread to your hands. And so I think you should tend to your neck first, because I think your neck is causing many of your other problems. And okay, so but let's draw some cards for you. So okay, so the Hanged Man and 2 of coins. So I think, well, in this particular context with the Hanged Man here, I think you might actually benefit from being upside down to like stretch out your neck and strengthen your neck. Like you don't need to lie all the way down. You could just lie on your back on your bed, and with like your head and shoulders like down to here, like outside your bed, like out from the side of your bed, so that you like hang with this part down from here to like free. I don't know how I should describe this, but like so that is out in the air, like. But and so like if you understand what I mean, I'm not sure you do, but like if you like you could hang outside your bed, like from your bedside, lie with this part of down from here to the top, like outside your bed, so that it is free and I can't, I have no idea how to describe this. It's but like then you have to like keep your head from dropping, and while doing that you are strengthening your neck muscles. I know I described that really badly. I don't like I don't know, but like you could also buy one of those like hammock thingies, like for I don't even know what that's called. Sorry, like hammocks where you place your neck in them, and then it stretches your neck, and you could also use like with this you can see here he's like hanging with like, well, it's bags of coins, but I believe I don't know what it is, but it could be like you may have to use like dumbbells where you lift like a bit like this, but like not upside down, but like where you lift them up and like this, like you lift them, and then like when you like, and then when they go down, like instead of them going to the front, they should go to the back. I have no, like, maybe just Google some good techniques to like strengthen your neck. I don't think I'm of any help right now, but like find some ways to like not just strengthen your neck, but also to, I'm not saying you have a bad posture, but I think you could benefit from the same exercises that helps get better posture, but because many of those exercises are about strengthening the neck and the shoulders. So with the two of coins here, I think you are maybe like with the, now I was talking about grinding your teeth before, and so maybe you are doing this because you are stressed out, and so maybe you need to relax and slow down a bit, and you might have too much going on right now. You might need to take a break. Maybe if you have the coronavirus, maybe now is a great time to take time off to really heal yourself and care for yourself. Eat healthy and do some neck exercises that you can do on your own in your own house without needing to go to a gym. And there are plenty of those on the internet, but mostly relax and slow down. Like, also this might be a warning that you are being with too many people right now, and since you might be contagious, that that you might not that might not be a smart thing to actually do, like be with so many people. I don't know if you have a job that requires you to be with a lot of people and meet a lot of different people, and so and also, so if you maybe you are also the I got the sense also that you could be the type who helps others, and so maybe if you and so maybe you should start asking other people for help. Of course, if you're contagious, the help will not be physical, but maybe ask people if you can call them and talk to them on the phone, or something like that, because you see that you are having a hard time with this corona virus thing, and the isolation and the difference in like how we live and our lives in general. And so maybe it would help you to talk to someone about it and really voice your frustration to someone, just so that you don't feel like you are alone with it. And like, that could also be a therapist. Like most therapists offer sessions over the phone or FaceTime right now, and I don't know why, but I also think for some of you, this is maybe only one of you, you could be pregnant right now. It's nothing in the cards indicated, but it just occurred to me that but I don't know, with the Hanged Man also, it's about delays as well. So so maybe you are a bit frustrated about something that has been delayed, but it could also be that you need to have patience. You need to like I think recovery, whatever you have right now, whatever health issues you have, I think recovery is on its way, but it might take a while, and you might need a bit of patience. And also with the Hanged Man, you might also need to look up some alternative treatments. You might need a new perspective on your health. Also, so, but that's what I see for you, group number 5. I hope this reading helped you. If it did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.